Welcome to Level Up Chips Battle for Middle-earth 2 Rise of the Witch King. Hello everyone and welcome to Level Up Chips, the little podcast where we talk about anything and everything video games. I am your host Michael Gonzalez and I am joined by my lovely co-host Max Logan. How you doing, buddy?
Fine, I'm kind of hungry though.
Yeah, I'm actually getting really hungry. This is kind of a late night type of podcast because we've had a lot of things going on this Saturday evening and day just in general.
Yep.
So I think that for now, I think we should just get right into the news.
Yep.
Yeah. So right now, Respawn had actually posted something talking about how Titanfall 1 is going to be discontinued. It's no longer going to be able to be purchased on the online stores.
Yep.
And the servers are going down March 1st, 2022.
Right.
And I'm thinking that some people are very upset by this.
Yeah.
But at the same time, for me, I'd honestly have to say this makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
In general, Titanfall 2 is just a better version of 1.
Plus, it actually has content outside of online matches, so...
Yeah, exactly. Some people might be wondering, well, why, the servers can be shut down. Why would they have Titanfall 1 completely taken off the store? And it's like, well, because there's nothing else to do. It was all just an online game.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing more, nothing less. And I'm not that upset about it just because usually I'm, heaving and hoeing about how emulation, you have to make sure these games stay alive. But we do have physical copies of the game. People are going to modify certain things. They're going to have personal servers so people can actually play the game if they're that invested in Titanfall 1.
Yeah, of course.
So I really think that the game is still alive, but more importantly, I think it's still alive in Titanfall 2.
Right, yeah. So, I don't know, honestly, I don't have that much attachment to Titanfall at all.
No, it's
because
fantastic.
I played 2. I played through the campaign that everyone says is, the best thing since sliced bread.
And I played it.
And I was just like, this is good.
Yeah, it's cool.
I guess I played Doom Eternal. I was just like, yeah, let's...
I don't get it. I really don't. People never talk about how fantastic that campaign is. It is... That, I would imagine, would be the one that's, the best thing since sliced bread.
Exactly.
But Titanfall 2, it's, it's a nice little,
good.
buddy...
I mean, the time travel mission, that was pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
People are like, oh, that's amazing. That's, the best level in first-person shooter history. And I was just like, that was good.
Technically, it wouldn't be. It is, but if I really had to say, the best, time travel first-person shooter type of mission would be in Dishonored 2, where you're able to literally go phase in and out of present and past time.
I think that's in Titanfall 2 that's how it is in that one.
But it's really neat because you literally have to sneak around and everything.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. There are guards or stuff in the past. There are enemy monsters in the present that you can avoid, and it's pretty cool. But
pretty cool.
Yeah.
No, it's fantastic. But even then, I feel like there's a lot of things where I'm like, hey, Dishonored kind of did it better. I'm not a fan of Dishonored 2, don't get me wrong, but they had their moments with their levels where it was just absolutely fantastic. But otherwise, we do have one last little thing of news. I know it's a little bit short, but Paper Mario, the N64 Paper Mario, is coming out December 10th for the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack
service. Yep.
So I am really looking forward to that. Did you ever play that one?
I did not.
Not really? No?
No. Plus, I won't be able to play it until I get back home from break.
All right.
Or for break. So.
Yeah, with all the final stuff, he doesn't really have his Switch on him, so...
Yep. Just so I can focus. But, yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to playing it for the first time. I obviously know what happens. It's been a while.
Well, yeah, I know. There's a lot of things that happen. I'm just curious, do you remember, a lot of the story, all the beats that
Not
happen?
all the beats. I just know, the premise
All right. Well, yeah. I mean, it's a Paper Mario game.
Right. It's pretty simple.
It's a very, very good RPG system. I mean, very beginner-ish.
Yeah, obviously it's Mario, so
I mean, yeah. No, don't get me wrong. I feel like the Mario and Luigi series, though, had, like, the best complex Mario RPG system.
yeah, but
Paper Mario has always just been kind of that easygoing.
I mean, yeah, Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga is one of my favorites. So
Bowser's Inside Story always gets me. Always does. But yeah, I'm very excited for that one. It's been forever since I played that, just like full way through. And there are some of my favorite moments in Paper Mario history in the first one. And I really cannot wait for you to see some of them, especially this one guy, Tubba Blubba. Weird name. Fantastic story. Absolutely love it.
well, we'll see.
All right. So let's get into the middle, the meat of the sandwich.
The main topic.
Meat of the sandwich. Yeah, is that the right term or
Yeah,
phrase?
the meat of the podcast.
Podcast. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Just anything. All right. So with the Game Awards
Approaching.
coming around, at the moment we're thinking, why don't we talk a little bit about some of the categories that are part of the Game Awards, and we talk about some of the games that we think are deserving of these categories. But instead of just going into those categories, looking at their nominees and saying, oh, I've only played 3 of these games, and the rest of them I've never played, so I guess this one wins by default. Instead, we're going to be doing the games that we've played this year. And if a game came out in 2004 and this is your first time playing it, well, that's technically a new game to you. So this is what we're trying to do, and I think that this would be a pretty neat look at how...
Nice little exercise.
Yeah. Is everything going good over there? Is
Yeah.
Kind
The stands just kind of...
the stands.
acting up.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna have to hold it. There we go.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So the first the first little section that we have at the moment is best narrative.
Yep.
And I'm just curious. What did you put down for best narrative?
I put down Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
What made you say that one?
Well, I mean, I was discussing this a little bit earlier. Not in a podcast, just outside, off the record. So it's my belief that, how a lot of cyberpunk stories tend to focus on, the dangers of,
Capitalism.
like late stage capitalism.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like with Cyberpunk 2077, it has that subtext, obviously.
Yeah.
Like, it has all the normal tropes of one of those stories, but at the same time, it focuses more so on identity and just like figuring out who you are. I mean, you're effectively on a death timer through the game.
Yeah, you're pretty much
In the narrative, because like obviously they aren't going to cut your time short by killing you randomly.
I honestly thought that might have been
What they were going to do.
And I was very
Scared.
very scared.
Yeah. A few games do that. Some of them very well. Others
Most of the time,
not
very poorly.
good at all.
Very bad.
But yeah, Cyberpunk is really unique. I really liked, Keanu Reeves' character. Like,
Yes.
that's way different than what Keanu Reeves is usually typecast as. He's just like, Johnny Silverhand is just an a-hole that just sits around. He's like, he just gives like his input whether you want it or not.
And it's usually very, very just vulgar.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's always a fun time. Yeah, I was gonna say this is like one of his roles where he says the most words he's ever had
Right.
in a performance. And that's where it is kind of just a little daunting at some points for me with Johnny Silverhand. Mostly because, yeah, it is fantastic, but every now and then I'm like, that's really how he just talks, huh?
Yep. It's just like, yeah, he has a kind of weird voice.
He has a certain cadence to how he talks, and in a certain way, I never, I guess with all those short lines that he usually has, I was like, oh, it's just him, whatever, like nothing too crazy.
But with Johnny, it's like full conversations.
And immediately you're like, oh, that's what he's just like. Okay. So, yeah.
What about you, Mike?
So for me, the narrative was actually this one game that came out last year, and I finally got around to beating it. It was Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Oh.
That one is fantastic.
Yeah.
I know that you've been playing through it. You're probably about like halfway through, I think.
Roughly.
Like
I
judging
guess.
by the chapters. Yeah, I was finally able to beat it, and I gotta say, I absolutely love the relationship between Ichiban and his friends that he has for his party members.
Right.
It's really wholesome.
Yeah.
Most of the time, but I will not lie, it does get to those dramatic moments where you are like sobbing by the end, and it's really sad. And then at the same time, you will have those sad moments, and minutes after you're like, all right, let me head over to the arcade to play some Virtua Fighter. All right, guys, let's go. Oh, we have a turn-based battle against some otakus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. One of my favorite stories was so you can talk to your party members at like this bar.
Yes.
In order to, I think it's like increase their just bond with you. And one of my favorite ones was with Nanba, who's literally his job designation is homeless guy.
Woo.
And he talks about how he drank this super expensive drink at the bar when nobody else was around. He's all like, oh, what am I going to do? Like, I can't pay that back. And then later on, there's like a whole thing, and the owner's like, yeah, I just keep that up there for like rich people to look at and give me good reviews after I give them like a sob story about it. And then
that's what. I'm starting to remember because like Namba, he drank a little bit. He was like, oh,
like I'm just
bartender's
gonna
not around.
sneak like a little sip, and then he just drinks the whole thing.
Yeah, no, it was like, it was like buttery smooth. It was so good. I drank the whole thing, passed out, and then was like, oh god, what did I do? And then he snuck in like some crappy like liquor in there,
swill in there.
Yeah, some swill. And apparently that's just what it was originally.
Yeah, it was just like the label that convinced him it was better than it was.
Immediately. And I think that was the best part about the whole thing. The placebo effect of just thinking, it's so good.
Yeah, this is a legend malt. Yeah.
It's the legend. I love it. I absolutely adore that game and the party members and just how like wholesomely loyal Ichiban is to the rest of his party.
Yeah.
Even if they do like maybe some questionable stuff every now and then, it's like, oh, but they're my friends. It's that kind of like One Piece Luffy effect.
Where people just want to help him, I guess.
Just want to help him. And I guess that's what makes it such a great narrative. There's just so much about it where you get so inspired by the end that you're like, I can do anything in this world. And then later on you realize, oh wait, maybe I can't.
Maybe I can't go beat up random people in the streets with a baseball bat. I take it back.
This game gives you false positivity. And
stay negative, people.
Yeah, stay negative. Never buy the game, but actually, please do buy the game. It's fantastic.
All right, so let's move on to the next thing.
So the next thing is best narrative.
Best art direction. We just did narrative.
Wait, yeah, sorry. What am I doing? I'm so sorry. Yeah, best art direction. That's what I meant to say.
Okay, how about you go first this time?
So for me, it was actually the game that came out in March or April. I can't remember right now. Returnal. Returnal is basically this game where you crash land on this alien planet, and it's really neat because at first you can't really find these aliens. You're like, oh, who are these? And it gives you that like alien vibe You know,
Yeah.
like the movie Alien
Right.
or Prometheus.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that great architecture
Mm-hmm.
of these aliens that, came around from ancient times. And you're like, oh my gosh, it's beautiful. It's absolutely scenic. You have
Mm-hmm.
these beautiful plants that glow in the first biome, and they glow and follow you, and it's this light blue hue, and it's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous when they go around you.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to art direction, it's just jaw-dropping half the time.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. For me,
Mm.
the art direction, the best for me this year. That's got to go for Guilty Gear Strive,
Okay.
which is the most recent fighting game made by Arc System Works. Obviously in the Guilty Gear series.
Oh, yeah.
So with I think it was Guilty Gear Exard, they created this like 3D, this 2.5D art style that makes it so that the characters like move at like what was it 28 frames per second, so it looks like they're actually like animated. It looks like an anime kind of.
Yeah, it looks more anime.
But the action is obviously all in 60 FPS. So it's still like a coherent fighting game.
It's an absolutely wild time,
Yeah.
honestly.
And then with Strive, it's like the peak of that visual style.
I remember with like Dragon Ball Fighters, I remember thinking like, oh, so it's 2D, right?
No,
And
it's
then
3D.
After a while, I was like, hold on, they're doing a lot of things that look like it's 3D. It's 3D? No
Yeah.
way!
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, with Strive, they just do like crazy things with it. It's absolutely insane.
I think every time that I look at the Arc Systems like art design, I start thinking, like I can't believe it's not butter.
Yeah,
But
I can't
instead
believe it's not 2D.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but with Strive, it's more obvious it's 3D. There's like more camera angles.
Yeah, the camera angles are much more apparent in that one. But nevertheless, it's just absolutely beautiful looking at it.
Right, exactly. And on top of that, all the characters look way cooler than they ever had before. Like, before they kind of had some unnecessary stuff added onto them. Like, a lot of them had, I don't know what to call it, like, kind of cape-ish stuff.
Oh, okay.
Where it was like, it'd like be from their waist. It'd just be like tassels that come down. Not anymore in Strive. It's just kind of like it cuts all the unnecessary stuff out and keeps all the essential parts of their designs.
That's good to know. Yeah, I've been thinking about possibly getting it if I was able to get a good deal.
Yeah.
I'm a good fighting game fan. It's just, I don't know, in a certain way.
Yeah, Strive is
it's just not my forte all the time.
Right, exactly.
So yeah, no, I think that's a really interesting thing. So why don't we get into the next part, which is audio design.
Mm-hmm.
What did you have?
I got Tetris Effect.
Oh,
I mean, to be fair, I played it last year, but like I played it again on the Switch. I was like,
that's a completely different port.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, so I mean, just in general, the music and the sound effects and all that stuff. I mean, it's one of those games that's like, this game is best played with headphones. You're like, yeah, right, whatever. And then you're like, oh, okay, I need to play this with headphones.
You need to play it with headphones.
Yeah. It's like, it just immerses you in the game. I mean, when you set down all the blocks, like, it plays different notes in the song, so you feel like you're part of it.
Yeah, that's always been the cool thing about Tetris Effect. Really, the fact that when you put down the blocks, it meshes with the song to make it sound like the blocks dropping make the music. It's like on beat with everything.
Right, yeah, of course. I mean, I don't really have much else to say about it. It's
so good.
Tetris Effect. A lot of people know about it.
And a lot of people praise it.
Yeah.
So, for me, the best audio design is, and this is the final time I'll use this one, it is Returnal. Because yeah, I had the white headphones, the PS5 ones on.
Yeah, the Pulse.
And everything felt like it was right next to me. Like the 3D audio design was unreal with this one, and half the time when there is an enemy on my right, I knew it was there, and I could dodge in time to get out of the way of attacks.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. Everything about it. And I will admit, this game, I'm going to almost go a little bit further instead of just talking about audio design. Also talking about controller design.
Oh.
Because in a certain way, the audio mixes in with the controller vibrations. You know, with the PS5, they have that feedback type of feel.
Yeah, the haptic feedback.
Haptic feedback, and the rumble is just absolutely insane. It's like, you know, Joy-Cons on a next level.
Right.
So with this one, it has that same thing of like with rain, when it's pouring down,
you can hear it through the controller.
Hear it through the controller. You can feel it in the controller. The patter is just everywhere, random places on the controller. And then when you have the secondary weapon at your ready, because every now and then, like when you use the secondary attack, it needs to recharge. When it recharges, you can hear it, but also you feel it. It's a certain, like, I don't even know how to describe it in a certain way. It's like kind of pulses in your hand for just a second, where it's almost like something that stopped breathing and all of a sudden is like it's just gasping for breath. It always feels like that with your controller, and it is wild what it does.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that in a certain way, we aren't just going to have to look at audio. We really are going to have to look at what the controller does with the feedback and reactions. Maybe that could be a part of what audio design is too.
Yeah, maybe. But I guess we'll move on to our next topic.
Ooh. And this one's I think going to be a little bit quicker.
Fighting games.
Fighting games.
Yeah.
What did you have?
Can you guess?
Okay, I put Guilty Gear, and I think he did too.
Yes, I did.
Okay. Honestly, that's like the only new game that I played recently.
Yeah.
And, you know, I would say Smash Bros, but again, I played it since the very beginning. The day it came out. So I can't really say anything else about it other than this one is just, you know, Guilty Gear Strive is fantastic. I played a bit with Max, and I was very impressed by what they were able to do with a side, you know, a 2D fighting game.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's way more beginner friendly than the other Guilty Gear games, which are notorious for being difficult. There's still like fundamental mechanics like Roman cancels and dusts and all that stuff that people wouldn't know about yet, just going over your head. Yeah, expected. Okay. Yeah, I mean, when I started, I was like, what is that? Like, what does that mean? And yeah, like I had to learn numpad notation and all that.
I don't know. The way you said it made it seem like you were like, yeah, sure, Mike. I predicted that of you.
Yeah. I mean, most people don't. So like, I just assumed you'd be the same.
All right, that's
so
fair.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, in Guilty Gear Strive, the damage is really high. So like, if you're good at it, you can end matches in like 30 seconds.
It's a very fun one.
Yeah, it's fast paced. I mean, there are certain characters that are pretty annoying.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like the one I play, May.
Yeah. The one that made me stop playing the game because he just kept spamming me with projectiles.
They're not projectiles.
I don't know. I call them projectiles because it's like full on long.
Yeah, it's a charge.
Yeah, that's the right term. Charge.
Right. I mean, that's what she's saying. In
fact,
it
sucks.
Yeah, but I mean, Guilty Gear Strive, good game. A lot of combo variety too because of the Roman cancels.
All I'm saying is it's a fantastic game, but if they ever were to hear me, I think the scrub quote tweets would definitely have.
Yeah, they'd be crawling all over Mike.
Yeah. All right. But anyway, May sucks. Moving on.
Multiplayer.
Best multiplayer. I think that what did you have?
I put down Chivalry 2.
Really?
Yes.
Oh wow! I was actually thinking you were going with Monster Hunter for that one.
Well, I didn't really play it online that much. like with randoms.
Okay, that's fair.
It was mostly local, but
No, that does make sense.
I guess it is like local multiplayer as well. But yeah, you know what? It's a tie between Chivalry 2 and Monster Hunter Rise.
And why Chivalry?
Because it's just like this. I mean, because you can have like 40 people in the same match. I think like 60 even.
Whoa.
It's highly impersonal. So it's like you can't really get toxic with people.
I think that's the best part about some of those like multiplayer games that recently they've realized maybe voice chat.
Voice chat's a bad idea.
I personally believe just chat in general among multiplayer people is just going to create toxicity, and that's why Splatoon 2 is still a fantastic multiplayer game in my opinion.
Yeah, but for Chivalry, it's just like it straddles the line between being a super serious like medieval battle simulator,
and then you have someone playing
the loot, or like you can get onto catapults and have people launch you like further into battle. Usually you just end up getting killed when you land, but
that's wild.
Mm-hmm.
I do agree. I think that if I were to play the game, I would have a fun time.
I think I killed people with a jar once. Like I just threw it at them and they died.
You're really tempting me actually to get this.
I think they added a new update where they updated like the brawling mechanics so you can like punch people better.
No way.
I think they added a game mode just for punching people.
I'd be cool if it was like in a bar. Or
yeah. I think that's what it is. It's in a tavern.
That makes sense.
It's a bar fight.
I'm actually cool with that. I think that's like the coolest thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then for Monster Hunter Rise, I guess you got that one?
Yeah. Actually, I was going to say it's a tie between Monster Hunter Rise and Golf with Your Friends.
Oh, Golf with...
This is a game that, it came out a while ago, but this is my first time playing it this year.
Mm-hmm.
And, our good friend Nate, he actually suggested this one. I was like, oh, yeah, sure. And it was a great time, actually, to just chat, play some mini golf, get a little bit tilted every now and then, and...
Found a troll level
that I'm not going to say the name of it.
Yeah,
it's obscene.
Yes, it's vulgar,
but it's still a very fun one, and I love it. Honestly, it was just one of those games where if I were to, just chat with friends, have a good time, it's the easiest one to just
do that with,
do whatever, and just play some mini golf, which I may add, Nate, get good. But yes. I don't like that phrase, but
yeah,
buddy,
get good.
Get good. You suggested it. And then Monster Hunter Rise, again, I think we can both say this. It's just a fantastic game to play with friends too. A little bit less on like the talking side. You can still do that, but really you're focused on hunting those monsters. It's a fantastic cooperative experience.
Of course, yeah.
And I don't even know how to describe it. You just play through it. It's a very fun and fast experience, unlike most of the Monster Hunter series.
Yeah, it's very loose.
This one is very quick to engage you in these quests. The beginning does have a lot of tutorials, but this one specifically, I do remember as soon as the tutorials finished, I was speeding through, killing all sorts of monsters, just hanging with my brother because he's in Japan. And he's just, we were able to play it. Like, he was just right there next to me.
Yeah.
The servers are phenomenal.
Right.
So, in a certain way, I can't complain about this game. This was, almost going to be my game of the year when it came out. And
yeah,
I just kind of had that weird effect of I stopped playing and stopped thinking about it. And it's like Animal Crossing, where I was like, I don't know
get into it.
I should get into it. I just don't know why I haven't. And I just stopped trying to get into it.
Right.
Anyway, the next category that we have two final ones.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah, okay. We have best RPG.
Okay.
And what did you put down for this one?
It came out last year, but I played the majority of it this year. Actually, no, but whatever. This is like one of the few RPGs I've played. Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, which came out in 2020 of last year. I remember because I was like, oh my god, they're releasing Xenoblade again on the Switch, and it doesn't look horrible.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it looks so bad on the other consoles.
It's like
isn't as bad.
It's like comparing the One Punch Man webcomic to like the manga that was released. They're completely different, except they have like the same story content.
It's the same story, yeah.
Except it's just refined. I guess it just looks like the anime, but whatever.
I was gonna say the artist, he has fantastic stories. It's just his artistic skills
are
not that great.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at the Mob Psycho manga actually recently. I was like, wow, huh?
Yeah, I guess that's why they go crazy on like making the anime look.
The animes are wild.
Yeah, exactly. But
anyway,
yeah. So Xenoblade Definitive Edition.
Mm-hmm.
So it adds a lot of quality of life improvements, like being able to have fashion sets, so you don't have to look like some monstrosity when you have optimal armor.
I'm not gonna lie, I've seen some of the like armor just regular. I'm like, oh god, why would anybody just wear that instead of just having a regular outfit?
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. I mean, has all the same stuff as Xenoblade originally does. Like the scale is absolutely like incredible.
I was gonna
just
say
its sense of scale, and
for the most part, I'd say the game is like a 1-to-1 like scale for the Wii version of Xenoblade.
I mean, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's the same exact map and everything. It just looks prettier, but
great.
Mm-hmm. The battle system is like one of the best I've played. It's nice.
God.
It's
Yeah.
simple enough to like for people to get through the game pretty easily, but it's also deep enough that there's a lot to learn if you want to get really good.
Some of the hardcore fans can really go wild with this game.
And Xenoblade 2 and X are a whole other story, but like
that's another thing.
Can of worms.
Yeah. But
yeah.
Anyway, music is great.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's another thing. Music is fantastic. The characters are all really enjoyable, except for like a few, but they don't overshadow the rest of the cast. Like the party has a really good like dynamic going on.
Yeah.
I mean, the story kind of starts out generic. It's standard bad guys attack your village.
Time to get revenge.
Yeah, time to get revenge, but it evolves into something so much more. Like
I'm so excited to actually, because I'm playing it right now at the moment.
We're at like say Toro Marsh, so
yeah. So not
swamp
that far.
area.
Yeah, not that far, but still like a good amount.
Quarter of the way through.
Yeah, like quarter of the way through. It's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, honestly, I almost had that as my
best RPG,
but I again decided to go with a game that I have completely finished to say, all right, it's fantastic. Yakuza Like a Dragon had such a great RPG like system. I mean, it's nothing in comparison to Xenoblade, because Xenoblade has, I think, possibly the greatest RPG system ever.
Battle.
Right next to, like, Chrono Trigger, maybe. But Yakuza has such a great way of adding humor to party, you know, the combat, especially with some of the moves that you can do, some of the people that you can pay to help out.
Yeah, there's
some of the fights, some of the summons.
Yeah, the service called Pound Mates.
Yeah, Pound Mates is a really fun time.
It's just like the stand-in for the summoning.
Yeah,
like
you basically
RPGs.
like call them in to help you out in a fight, and you pay them for that service.
Except for the first time. First time's free.
First time's free. And yeah, the party and class system. Class system is fun because you go into one of those like work agencies for a job, and
that's your job.
Yeah, so like your class is just like Ichiban's like, I want to be a hero
Yeah.
And they're like, that's not a job, sir.
Like, whatever.
And that's his class, a
Yep.
hero.
Mm-hmm. See.
Nanba's the homeless guy.
Yep.
What was it? Adachi.
Mm-hmm.
He was a police officer.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, he had
Yeah.
a baton and...
Yeah, I was gonna say the way that I used him, I had his class as a foreman.
Yeah, that's what I have him as.
And Psycho. Yeah, Psycho.
Yeah, it's Psycho.
Yeah, Psycho. I have her as an idol as a class, and she's the healer.
Yeah, healer and buffer.
She just kind of like does her little like chant, like her songs, and it heals us. It gives us strength.
For Nanba, I had him as a musician.
Yeah, for Nanba, I had him as a bodyguard, actually. It was kind of weird seeing him almost like Majima.
Yeah.
Like, he kind of just looked like Majima with the eye patch and everything.
Right.
And knives and all that stuff. And it was really fun. I gotta say, it is basically just a typical turn-based RPG game. But because of the unique flair that it has in its, many different factors, it just kind of pops out.
Yeah, it's like strangely realistic. Like, attack wise, like there are things that people would actually do to like hurt other people in some sort of way.
In a certain way.
It's things that people can do in real life.
Yes, exactly. And in a certain way, I know one of my friends didn't really agree with me, but I've always really said, like, I was with my brother, we were talking, and we were saying, the Yakuza series, if it goes with this turn-based, RPG system, it kind of does feel like a Mother Earthbound type of feel. Not in the same way of, like, kookiness, but I'm looking at it more almost like a parody of real life. Because, like, in Earthbound, you'd have, like, a garage sale picket sign, and you could put it anywhere in the world. You could literally be in, like, the darkest, like, desolate cave. You put in a garage sale sign or a yard sale sign, and someone will pop up and say, hey, I heard there's a sale. What are you selling? And you could just sell anything.
Right, exactly.
It was the funniest thing. And I was like, yeah, that's about right for the American system. And that, I feel like Yakuza does the same thing of just kind of like laughing about Japanese culture and just real world things.
I mean, probably one of my favorite side quests was the one with Nancy the crawfish.
Nancy the crawfish is the best. If you, I may not do a summary, but it's pretty much
you save a crawfish.
Save a crawfish from a man hoping to eat it.
Yep, and then it becomes a summon.
Yeah, for just a second you were like, oh, it's his friend, and you accidentally chucked it in the river, and you're gonna go save it. And he's like, no, I wanted to eat it. And you're like, wait, no, you
I'm gonna get you like some sushi or something.
Yeah, don't kill it. And you have to fight him, and you get the summon.
Yeah.
And I would recommend, honestly, just all the side quests for Yakuza Like a Dragon are fantastic because they condensed it into 50 side quests instead of the usual, like, 180 that they have. And because of that, all of them are great quality. I can never complain about it.
Right.
Honest to God.
Yeah.
And we have... Actually, I just realized... Would you want to possibly skip music to get into the Game of the Year stuff?
Yeah, sure. Let's do that.
Okay. So, what did you have for Game of the Year?
Well, among all the options, I'd have to say Xenoblade Definitive Edition.
I don't blame you.
I mean, it's like between Bloodborne and Xenoblade, those like switch between my favorite game just whenever I feel like it. Yeah. So I was just like, I feel I'm in a Xenoblade mood today.
Xenoblade has definitely one of the best RPG
battle mechanics.
Systems. It is getting close to for me to say like Chrono Trigger might have gotten beaten,
dethroned,
because I absolutely loved at the beginning of Chrono Trigger where you could do like those slash attacks, and it would matter if enemies were close to each other to get like an area of effect type of thing. By the end game, though, it was just, all enemies can just get like absolutely smashed by you by one move.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, the area of effect was the whole screen. And I don't see that so far with Xenoblade. It actually looks like you have to move around, and that's like a core gameplay mechanic.
Yeah.
Meaning it's something that I wish more games had in general.
You know what? I just realized there's something similar between Xenoblade and Bloodborne. They both like have a pretty simple premise at the beginning.
Oh my gosh.
And it just evolves into something like way bigger than that.
The nightmare continues.
Yep. Just like Bloodborne's just like, I'm a werewolf at like first 2 hours, and then the rest of it is just like Lovecraft.
It's so good. So good.
And he's also playing that.
Yeah, I'm playing through both of them right now, actually. I've heard a lot about Bloodborne. I couldn't get into it because I was not good. But now I am good for some reason. And I don't know. I'm loving it. I'm loving Xenoblade and Bloodborne right now.
I also got him into One Piece.
Yeah, he is just turning me into, like, Mini-Max.
Yep.
So that's something.
Right, exactly.
My game of the year was Metroid Dread.
Yes.
That's actually one of the nominees for the Game Awards, and I'm praying to God,
that
or whatever higher being, that it wins, because it is so good. I have gone through the game probably 8 times. I have gone through the game with hard mode. I have played it through normal mode. I have done, the fast times for hard and normal. I've done 0% runs for normal mode, and I'm almost done with hard mode, but I can't bring myself to do it because it is very difficult, because it's literally one shot, one death, just dead.
One shot, one kill.
One shot, one kill type of crap, and it's frustrating. That's what it comes down to. It's frustrating.
But other than that, right.
Fantastic. That's the thing. I've put myself through this pain because of how much I love it.
Yeah, but for those who don't know, Metroid hasn't had a new game since, what was it? Or a new 2D game since 2002. 2000.
I want
Fusion, I thought it released in 2.
You're right, 2, because they keep saying it's 19 years.
Right.
Yes, 2, you're right. Fusion was fantastic, and Dread adds so much to the gameplay. I mean, it is just like the acrobatics of Samus are fantastic. The quick little like flashes and like counters that you have to do, so much fun. They're very intuitive, and every boss is just kind of like a puzzle boss, and you really, and again, I know I've definitely talked about this before, so I'll just say fantastic. Play the game, buy it. Do not do anything that is illegal, or else I will come for you. And that is not a threat, but it is still a very ominous way to say it.
Just
don't do it.
Just do not emulate.
Just buy.
Just buy the game. Buy the game. If you want to see more Metroid, buy the game.
Buy the game. So that's, I think, what we have at the moment. The last thing that we really want to talk about is The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, which is
our game of the week.
We picked that out of a random wheel, and it was pretty fun.
So I think one of the most impressive parts about this game, right, is that it was created in 18 months. Like, after Ocarina of Time release and was a success, I think it was Shigeru Miyamoto came up to Eiji Aonuma and was like, hey, make a new Zelda game in like a year and a half.
And they were like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and then they reused a bunch of assets
from Ocarina of Time
and made a fantastic game out of it.
Fantastic game.
Arguably better than the game it took stuff from, but
it's very arguably better. And I think the coolest thing and the craziest thing is the fact that this game essentially pioneered the Groundhog's Day genre of video games that we see today. Like, I think this year specifically, there were like 3 different Groundhog's Day type of
time
games,
loops.
like Returnal, Deathloop, 12 minutes, or I think that's it.
12 minutes.
12 minutes. There are so many games recently that have just decided, by the way, once you die, you come back to the start
The beginning of the
beginning
game.
of the game.
Mhm.
And with this one, it's really cool because, yeah, the moon, it is crashing down.
And you have 3 days to stop it.
Yeah, so basically, you're going through all these places, you're doing everything, you're going through the dungeons, and you're trying to, get these things to stop it. And the cool part is you really have to learn what everybody is doing, not only in the town.
I think this is like the first game that like has actual like schedules for NPCs.
Yes, this is true. This is the only game that really has like a schedule-based, or the first game to have a schedule-based thing for NPCs. And it does something that, to this day, like Deathloop pretty much has that same idea. It's a first-person shooter with like Majora's Mask ideas. The only problem with it is really the fact that it's small. It's really small. If you really look at the size of it, I was able to beat it in like 3 or 4 days with the whole Majora's Mask effect, because it had like objectives and all that stuff. Majora's Mask, they don't really tell you much about it. They have this little notebook that you have, but for the most part, it's huge. It is.
It just says, go save these giants, I guess.
And then you pretty much have to just, go around. There's many side missions. And every side mission is very, very unique and fun. I mean, if you're going to go into a relatively hard but absolutely fantastic Zelda game, this is the end-all be-all.
Right. Another thing about it I really appreciate is it's got a like darker tone, because the moon's about to crash and everyone's dealing with their own mortality. But also, what was it? It's really silly at points.
Yes.
Like the soldier that you can find in Akana Valley, who's just sitting there. He's like,
he's all
I've been like,
and shit.
Yeah, he's like I've been trying to call help for like years now. Like, you can see me? All right, then here's a mask that makes you like invisible to enemies.
Like me. And he's like, okay. I was thinking of what was it, the Goron that's freezing in the mountain area, and he's like, I just want the rock meat. And he says, oh, rock meat, cool. Here's this frog mask. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. It's just really whimsical, but at the same time, it's...
I think the one mask side mission that always sticks with me, just in terms of, like, memorability, it isn't like some of the other ones that people go for. Like, I'd say, like, the hog mask is cool because, like, with the
Deku Butler.
Deku Butler, he's like, you remind me of my son, and sure enough, Majora Mask, Skull Kid basically turned that kid the butler had into your mask.
Killed him.
Yeah, killed him, and now you have his basically like persona just as a mask.
Right.
And I didn't mean for
that.
that.
Wow, it's just like Persona 5.
Persona 5, take off the mask. No, no, but that one is a fantastic one. But the one that I always remember is basically there's this robber, okay?
Oh, right, yeah.
And you're basically, you're just kind of like going around. This old lady has this bomb bag, and she's like bringing it over to her shop and stuff. And then all of a sudden the robber snatches it, runs off, and you basically have to stop him to get the bombs. And, if you hit him, he'll just drop him and be like, all right, forget it.
Yeah,
run.
with a sword.
Like, just get out. And
if you hit him with an arrow, though,
then the bombs
blow up. And he just dies, and she's just like, oh, okay. Thanks, but like...
I don't know what to reward you with because you didn't really help me. But if you do help out, you do hit him with the sword and he drops the bag, she'll be thankful. She'll give you the bomb mask, which is one of my favorite abilities because it literally just blows up in your face. You have a bomb for a like face.
Yep.
It blows up and you get hurt by it.
Except if you block with your shield.
Really?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
I didn't know that. I just thought I had to take...
You could just block with your shield and you take no damage.
Man! What? Come on! I mean... Anyway... I love this game.
Yeah,
honest to God, the stories in it are so, like, still, like, impactful to this day. The system is something that is so influential. In my own opinion, it's just a little bit more influential than, like, Groundhog's Day.
Right, yeah.
In its own way. It's like Groundhog's Day did that, but, like, I don't think that's what they looked at. I don't think, the Japanese people were like, Bill Murray, Legend of Zelda.
I don't know, maybe
they did.
Maybe Eiji Aonuma was like, I watch this Bill Murray movie. Let's do a game like that.
I can't even imagine just like Eiji Aonuma being like, Bill Murray, and then just made the like masterpiece of a Legend of Zelda game.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, there isn't really much more to say about it.
Not much to say. All I would say is it's coming to the Nintendo Switch Online expansion packs at some point. Yeah, eventually. I'm looking forward to that. But otherwise, I'd recommend playing it on a regular N64, for the 3DS, for the... What else? I think GameCube had it. The Wii,
GameCube
the Wii
did.
U.
Yeah, Wii U. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, it's... No matter what, it's... Or you could do the old thing where we said don't do it for Metroid Dread, but you can do this now because technically Nintendo is not making money off of this game. You could be a pirate like Luffy.
And the Straw Hats.
Be like the Straw Hats right now if you want.
It's justifiable. It isn't just.
I'm just saying, like, you could say yo ho ho.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything else. I'm not saying emulate. I'm just saying you could be a pirate.
Yeah.
That's all.
Mm-hmm.
Wink, wink. But anyway, I think that's all I have for now.
This podcast. Yep.
At the moment, I'm thinking that this might be the final podcast for the semester. We'll be back next semester.
Next season.
And this is just a little bit of a thing for all those viewers that may not exactly know. CM Life is starting to go into the limited series type of episodes, where basically episodes are going to be not like these 11 episode things. It might be a 5 to 6 episode type of series, and these are going to be shorter, smaller, 20 to 30 minute episodes, and they're going to be really focusing in on certain topics. And if you people are listening to this and you're thinking, I want to get in on this too, come over to the office, come over to see me. I'm the podcast editor, and maybe this could be fun. Maybe you want to talk about like all the RPGs in history, and maybe that may not be a limited series, but I like your gumption.
Yeah, exactly.
So do whatever you want. Just come to me, pitch an idea. Let's make this work, people.
Right, yeah.
But for the time being, thank you all so much for listening to this podcast. I'm Mike Gonzalez.
Signing out. Max Logan.
There we are. Okay, I was like, come on, buddy. I said my name.
I'm Max Logan.
All right, thank you. But thank you so much, and I hope you have a great holiday.